Okay, well, everything is buffering. Everything is acting crazy. Who knows what's actually working? I'm adding Ironcaster. The credits wouldn't roll. The intro wouldn't roll. We'll see what happens. Having massive technical difficulties at my end of things. We may not even be able to share the video because it may just raise my hands and make sure it's actually happening now. We actually have audio and visual. I don't know for sure. Hey, Ironcaster, how are you, my friend?
Nothing seems to be on fire so far, so I think we've made it. So I think we're doing it okay.
Okay, well, you're okay. Over here, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what will happen. Hail to you in chat if you're still with us. Massive tech issues. Thanks for everyone being here. Hey, Jacob. Hey, Chris. Loki, of course, is still ill, so apologies for him not being with us. But good thoughts, prayers, T's and P's for him. He'll be back with us as soon as he can. But we're just hoping that he can continue to recover from some of the things that are going on. So audio is roboting, but it's better now. Cool. The Underground. Hey, Underground. Awesome, man. I hear you all. Okay, so listen, here's the thing. Other computer completely crashed on me. I'm on a Chromebook that is only connected to Wi-Fi. So, yeah, and it literally says 2G weak signal. So, there's that. At least we have a show. So, how's that? Hey, Dave Reardon. Hey, Cannoli Sasquatch. Hey, CJ. I am not popping your stuff up because we are having massive technical difficulties, and I'm afraid no matter what I do, it will just freeze there because that's what the intro did. Okay, so when I hit live and stuff, like it took like 4 times for it to actually engage. I hit the intro, it lit up like it was going to play, and then just didn't do anything, and then just went away. So I clicked me, and then it added me. So I'm like, well, I guess it's not going to play the intro at all. So here we are with our technical issues, talking about FATMAN, which I thought was a fun movie to throw out there because I don't think many people have even given this film a chance. I actually found this very entertaining, sweet in some ways. Anyway, so there you go. So this was your first time seeing it, I believe, right?
Oh yeah. This was my first too. Well, I'm having some issues here too.
Okay. Well, maybe we won't share the movie tonight. Maybe we'll just talk about this movie. Maybe that's the best way to approach it. I don't know. We can try to share it, and we could see how it goes for Ironcaster is going to try to share it his side. So here's the thing. I had put this off of not seeing it in the theaters because it was rated R. Wife was not interested in going. It didn't get well received. It was sort of like, I don't know, a pretty meh response. Then I got a screener after the fact. Like it had been in theaters for I think like 3 or 4 weeks. And then they sent me a screener to do a review. And I was like, I actually found this movie relatively entertaining and kind of fun with a certain element of sweetness. Like it's just odd enough that I enjoyed it. I think if it didn't have so many F-bombs in it, I could get Mrs. Pops to watch it because, some of the other stuff's pretty generic. I know for those of you that at home that don't care, but it's never ever. It's not like even like Santa's sleigh. Let's be honest. It's one character that's doing like 99% of the cursing anyway, and he is the bad guy. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What were your initial thoughts to this?
So this was a movie I had heard about from Tom of Midnight's Edge. He was talking about this like last year or so as being like kind of this little sleeper hit, this little sleeper movie that I feel like is kind of underrated in a way that it's something I feel like more people should have seen by now because, for as long as the guy's been around, Mel Gibson knows how to give a performance. Like he was, I think my favorite part of this movie by far was Mel Gibson playing Kris Kringle.
So the premise of the movie, and again, we have some technical issues. We may try to maybe Ancaster go into it a little bit and see if you can maybe advance it over, to a certain scene that you want to talk about or something like that. Like that, we're not trying to live stream with it because there's no way. I think my signal or whatever. I don't quite understand how StreamYard navigates the signal strength from my computer versus his and all that kind of stuff. So reality is, we got shoestrings, Band-Aids, and duct tape trying to hold this stream together. So I don't want to totally break it.
Yeah. Well, the problem is like
the premise is so you have really kind of like 3 arcs.
Oh, I can't even talk.
Go ahead.
I'm having some tech issues on my side because I hit play and the video is not even showing up in the
Yeah, it's
in the
popping a
preview,
lot.
so I can't even get anything to show for the actual movie. So we're gonna have to resort on some screenshots, I guess.
That's fine. It's going to do it a little differently than we normally do. I apologize for that, folks. We can do that. We could try to figure that out as well. So there's like Mel Gibson. So the film is centers around a young, like a teenage, uber rich kid, like total snobby, arrogant, nasty to the maid, spoiled brat, rich kid who is entering like a science fair that he has won pretty much like 4 years in the running. And he's like an uber genius at it and a snob about it, but then he loses. And you have sort of this little backstory of how he treats the girl that beats him. And you have all these little elements of how he treats the maid and his grandmother and all those kinds of things. He calls, quote, the friend to get help to get this little girl. So they set this other character up with this process. And that's played by Walter Goggins. And I love Walter Goggins. It's Walton Goggins. I said his name wrong. Who just did an amazing job as sort of like this hitman, basically. All right, so let's see what we got here. This is, we'll just show a couple shots to at least give you guys a dose. So the kid got cast. I don't know if you saw this, Ironcaster, or not. The kid got cast because he looks like Ben Shapiro. So they wanted sort of this snooty, snotty, arrogant little kid. And that's how they went with. They went with this Ben Shapiro looking little dude, and that's how they did. I had not actually seen that in any trivia. It's actually in an interview where they actually stated that, and it made me laugh. Like I actually just laughed. So I'm going to remove that. I'm sorry, but I'm playing the games with the stuff, folks. For you to come to Whitechapel, I see came in here, and other folks. We've had some technical issues, so bear with us of not sharing as much as we normally do. So go ahead.
The thing was, I was going to say he kind of reminds me of Ben Shapiro, just with sort of the way he's dressed, the hair. He's in his height.
They totally played up a Ben Shapiro-esque look. It has nothing in common with Ben Shapiro or his actual childhood. It's just something they were going for. Anyway, they bring in Walton Goggins, who basically kidnaps the little girl, and they have like a faux torture scene of this little boy, how evil he is. And you get the first introductions to how crazy Walton Goggins is, how he basically threatens her when he drops her off at the house. Like, yeah, by the way, little Susie Q, you were at the mall. This is what happened. This is what you said. And what's the name of your dog? And it's like, she says something. And it's like, it's an absurd dog name. Like the jokes are smart jokes. Like this is not Christmassy jokes. This is not cheesy jokes. These are more like, the name of the dog is like, I don't know. I forget what it is. Like squishy pillow cushion or something. It's something ridiculous. He's like, okay, well, squishy pillow, I'm just going to get killed. I'll kill grandma. I'll kill everyone in your house, including the dog. Like that kind of stuff. So that's that backstory. Well, then you have Kris Kringle, who basically there's no Christmas spirit. The company's going to pot because they can't afford anything. Lots of stress, lots of anxiety. So the first part of the film is the first Christmas that's happening simultaneously to the other stuff. And here you can see how Mel is presented as Kris Kringle. There's only a couple of shots, and you think Ironcaster, where you see him like trying to look plump. Like he's not really even fat at all, really. Dad bod, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, he's just kind of about 50, 60 something year old man. He's struggling to keep going, as I don't want to say age is catching up with him or anything, but he's things aren't going as well as they once had been. The Christmas spirit just isn't doing well. He's not delivering as many presents, which want to be becoming a surprising part of the plot. But little things I did like, for example, just at first when you see him he's got this like red Ford he's driving into town with, I'm thinking, oh, is this could be an interesting little take on the sleigh? It's like, no, he still has a sleigh, but I like the idea of Santa in a red pickup truck.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a beater truck, and yeah. So Flaccid said they wanted it to be good and wasn't good. Okay. Well, I'd love to. You know what, Flaccid, if you want to join, just kind of give me a little heads up. I'll throw you a link and you can kind of give me your take on why you didn't like it. And Josh is here as well. Hey, Josh, how you doing, my friend? I'm trying to share stuff, but notice there's a delay. So we are not going to keep doing that because we're having technical issues. So we're not sharing as much as we normally would. Let me pull that back down. So the entire setup is that at that point, and then what you get is the fact that because it's sort of set like as though it were actually in our real world. It's set in a very practical manner in that the governments fund his operation, and a third of that budget comes from the U.S. military, or the U.S. government, who is now saying, well, no, you deliver less presents, so therefore we're paying you less. It turns out to be like a significantly less amount of money. So the first half hour or so sets all that up, and you have him going out on his first Christmas. So he's jaded, he's frustrated, he's tired. He's married to a lovely Mrs. Claus, but she's sweet little black lady with it's wonderful. I thought she's great. Dean Krantz is here. Abomination AJ is here. Hey, all you folks. I find the movie like very passively endearing. Like it's how she treats him, and that she calls him out on all of his crap when he gets too depressed. She calls him out when she says little things. She calls him my love, all these kinds of little nuances that make it very sweet. It's never real outlandishly Christmas or anything like that, right? I mean, it's just sort of like it's almost like it's kind of like a drama thing where this just happens to be the segment of the story. It's not really. It's weird because it's not exactly a Christmas movie in some ways. Like it's really fun in that way. I think
it's as much a Christmas movie as Die Hard.
Well, it's more Christmassy than the non-traditional Christmas movies. Like it's way more Christmassy than those. I mean, he obviously is Santa. Lots of Santa talk. There are elves. There are there are reindeers in the background. You see, the entire premise is set around that. But it's not this overly cheerful thing or anything like that. So anyway, so he gets through his first Christmas, and the pivot point in the story is that the little crazy, angry Junior Ben Shapiro kid that we're joking about, he gets coal. Well, he's a complete monster, right? He's terrible to the maid. He's terrible to everyone. And he gets coal, and he lends out to his backyard. You're going to regret this, fat man, blah, 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 blah. So then he ultimately calls the hitman and said, I want you to kill Santa Claus. So go ahead, Ironcaster.
The hitman, I found him to be an interesting character. He's just he's this character who was never able, it seems like not really able to kind of let go of that Christmas day, because when you're introduced to him, Walton Goggins.
Yeah, it's Jonathan. His name comes up at the very end of the movie. It's like Jonathan Miller. I remember you. He plays Santa, right? So he actually knows like every single kid, every single story, so that part is actually very in line with like the Santa Claus and other movies. And his name is actually Jonathan Miller. We don't get that till that very last scene.
Yeah. Well, one of the interesting things with it, he's when you're first introduced to him, there's a guy going to him to sell this baseball bat he was given to him by Santa. So I find that kind of interesting that they worked that in when that they were kind of working all this like kind of Christmassy things into it, that the hitman's a guy who goes and collects Christmas presents.
Yep. He's obsessed with the fact that he got dissed by Santa, basically. So he's looking for people who have actual made by Santa gifts. And at the end, when we'll get to the story and the twist or so at the end when we get there, but reality is it opens with like, like you said, baseball bat. It's stamped like made by Santa, North Pole. So it's not just like a regular baseball bat or something like that. And you have this and he's like completely OCD obsessed. Like he's putting on rubber gloves and he's completely unhinged in every possible way. So
he breaks into someone's house, and when he's like passing by a cross that's slightly crooked, he stops and he has to correct it.
Right. Yeah.
His house is like completely spotless. Like there's not even a TV. He's got just this little toy car under a bit of glass.
Yep.
Just like on a pedestal. Oh, and the hamster.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's all these little. So here's the short version of this, because we can't show you a lot of these. We're having technical issues, but there are so many weird, quirky elements. To me, I loved it a lot. And yes, Dean Krantz, Walter Goggins is great in the role. I really enjoyed it. And by the way, for those of you at home that are fans of Dean Krantz like I am, Dean's going to be on with me Thursday at 5:30 with Troy Pacelli. We're going to talk about A Few Good Men, which turned 30 years this month. So Dean's going to bring some of his background. Ronnie G.
Not working this week.
Yeah, Ironcaster can even hear me or not. Technical issues are out of control right now.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he plays Kris Kringle. So, okay, so the little kid. So I apologize for you guys if you're having problems with the technical stuff. So long story short, computer died. I'm on a laptop, which is basically a Chromebook. I have no power. It's on Wi-Fi. We're trying to make do. Loki's sick. This is like the stream that doesn't want to have us happen or something like that. So I don't know. I'm at like 80. No, I'm at 81%. Okay, I'm going to jump out Ironcaster and then come back. So can you just vamp about everything for a minute to that point, and I'll see if I connect better. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, it's a really interesting movie because this is not a role I was expecting at all to see. Mel Gibson famously has been just kind of on the outs with Hollywood after some notable incidents. And watching this, I want him to come back. I think the guy's been punished enough by Hollywood that the guy is as talented as he is. Mel Gibson deserves to have a comeback. He's kind of he's playing this gruff Santa who's feels like we can barely keep the lights on at the farm. We can barely make the toys. Our money is like half of what it was last year to be able to afford to keep doing what we're doing. So we have to keep. So he unfortunately, like, Santa has to like cut a deal with the U.S. government to make some motherboards and circuits for drones.
Yep. Okay. I don't know if it's better or not. I'm actually on the network now, so hopefully it'll be a little bit better. I have limited time, but I think I'll be okay to make it up later on. So I just want to catch up on chat a little bit. I do apologize again for the technical stuff. I can say this: we enjoyed this. I think the consensus is going to be that we actually enjoyed a lot of elements of this film. We are not about, I'm not about trying to prop this up as the greatest of all time or top 10 even or something like that. But it's a fun little thrill. It's a fun little throw-in film that is just off the beaten path and just odd enough. So anyway.
I feel like this is a movie I'm going to probably recommend to people as something different to try, rather than watch It's a Wonderful Life for the 1,000th time, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good movie, but
it's the best. It's the best. It's the
it is absolutely like the S tier. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you want to try something different Chris movie, and so many Hallmark movies.
This is a great synopsis of this film. Thank you, Whitechapel. I'm going to steal that. So thank you for that, because that is a great way to explain. This is kind of like, imagine a Santa Claus movie and Logan. That is actually not a horrible perspective on this, with like the Hitman vibe and all. I mean, that's not the story. But as far as the feel of an old man Logan Santa Claus is not a horrible way to explain it. So, all right, let's catch everybody up. You were explaining that he has to cave, give in to the government to take their money. Little kids put a hit on him. Now, I will admit it is really kind of sloggy in the middle there, because you have the hitman guy, because he spends his Christmas like training. He goes to a range. And by the way, Flask, I sent you a leak if you want to come here and tell me why you think this movie sucks, because I'm more than happy to do it. And if you have ever seen it, I'll be more than happy to throw you a link. Because I don't have Loki tonight. He's ill. And I love the because it is just an odd film, to be honest. But then once the hitman guy gets the job, there's like a lot of wasted screen time with him trying to figure out where to hunt for Santa. Like there's a computer and he has all these things up on the screen, things like that. That stuff just kind of went on a little too much, a little too tedious. It's not the end of the world. It's just you know, it is what it is. Because the best elements of the film, I think I agree with Ironcaster. It's all about watching Mel Gibson not be Santa Claus as Santa Claus. Like he's just not Santa Claus, but he's Santa Claus. It's so interesting with how they navigate that pretty much throughout the film. So did you like the fact that like they like very subtly explain to you like how all the letters get to him and stuff? Like it's like we never have to waste a whole lot of no one's explaining anything to you. You just got to be able to be smart enough to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, it's although I think that is kind of what it did seem a bit odd that like he has this little tiny like PO box that he goes to and he pulls like out just like a couple of handful of letters, whereas you got to figure he
Wait, no, there's a line because Herman, who's the guy at the post office, you have to maybe when you watch it again you'll catch this. Herman, I think it's the first post office trip, and maybe it's not. It might be another. But Herman says, "I have a whole lot more around back." And then when he's in the truck, there's a pallet, and it says post office. So through the windows of the Chevy, you see it says USPS on it, and it's a pallet of letters.
I did miss that.
Yeah. So and then of course later on when he's eating a cookie, the soldiers are moving in all their equipment, right? Because he's had to agree to do this manufacturing for them to make money, and in turn, they're moving their stuff in, and this piece of equipment falls over, and two men are struggling to move it. He walks over, hold my drink, and he picks it up and moves it because he's super strong, right? Because he's like this immortal. Yeah, it was literally a hold my beer. I got this moment, and I know that I've seen this before, but when that happened, I watched it again today. I actually stopped and laughed like, man, that is so freaking funny. It literally is a hold my beer moment. And I thought about maybe we should figure out how to get that clipped of him doing that and just have some sort of hold my beer kind of thing, right? Because that's what I'm saying about this movie. It's just odd and quirky and anyway, that kind of stuff. So anyway. Yeah, Dean's talking about some of his best work came after Exile, like Hacksaw Ridge. It proves that you can do things. Well, Mel is big enough, both as a director and an actor, that he can get enough money to get things done through. Now, these are two pretty no-name creators that wrote and directed this. Now, they do have a new project coming, but they've got real names attached to that too. So they're not people that we know. I look at their resume briefly. It's not like I'm going to give you a whole lot to go on. Feel free to look them up. It's a brother team. So anyway, I don't know. So, but hail to Matt. He popped in here too. A Common Idiot. Hope you guys are doing well. Many of my members are here. I've been saying that hi to you guys. Thank you for all of you guys do to support me and all of that. Obviously, Chris Persia, the mod. He's freaking awesome, of course. Matt and others are obviously members. I appreciate all of your support. Yeah, this film is just off a little bit. So as it progresses, it's a lot of watching Chris navigate this struggle with the military and all that. And they basically are kind of like cartoonish in some ways. And they have to present things to the elves. Did you like how they handled the elves? I didn't like it as much on my rewatch as I did the first time. The first time I thought it was okay. The second time I was a little more cringed out by a couple of the shots and stuff. I was like, I didn't like that shot.
In a way, I feel like they could have kind of played the elves up a bit more. It's like, but the only real hint we get of that is the fact that they eat like sugar 6 times a day. Sugar and carbohydrates is their diet. And like to the point where they're in the lunchroom and they're when they have the little cafeteria spread out, it's literally just a big bowl of sugar that they're just dumping onto their tray.
Yeah, so there's a shot of Santa. He's explaining the military contract to the elves. They use a pretty far back shot, so you see they have like pointy ears. You see that they're shorter, but you don't have perspective. Then you're introduced to number 7. He's basically like the head elf, and he's around a lot. There's a few comments about how they're numbered, how old they are. But the only real elf gag is like he's saying, it's about, why do you guys eat like this? You guys should eat some normal food, eat some veggies. He's like, no. We don't sleep. We only sleep like 20 minutes a day. That's why we live longer than humans, because we live on these sugars and things like that. It actually was kind of fun. I don't know. I agree with you too, because it's like the elves are there, but they're not there. It's like there's the same thing with like the reindeer, like the stalls. They're walking around. The reindeers are kind of in the background. Mel Gibson just has a pail, and there's no like cutesy moments. They don't make a bunch of noise or anything like that. They're just kind of there. You're like in the Santa world without any cheesiness of it all.
You would kind of imagine they would have, like, my thought is, if I were, handed this to direct, I would have wanted to do something about like something involving a reindeer attacking the assassin, like one gets loose or something. And
well, they set it up like it might happen, because the guy, like the one grabs at one of the soldiers. You go, "Oh, you're lucky that wasn't Blitzen. She'll bite your gonads off," right? So you think that maybe that's a setup, that the dude, when he's running around later trying to kill Santa, he'll run through the stalls and maybe Blitzen will grab him or something. You think, but it never manufactured. And maybe there's a deleted scene. I have no idea. I do not have a physical copy of this. This is actually one of those that I might consider trying to track down a physical copy if it's worth it or not, because it's just one of those that I can see not staying in demand. Like it's one of those that could vanish from our presence, so to speak. Hate Castle, hate a Left Eye Ego. By the way, Violent Night is what I thought Fat Man should have been. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not. It definitely is not that type of rated R. Like, to be honest, if they had cut the profanity and then a couple of the gunshot wounds, you probably could have pulled a PG-13. I'm just happy they made the film they wanted to make, because it definitely gets to feel like you don't feel like they came up short like that. If any of you guys want to give me a little heads up, if you want to come up in here and tell me your side of it, because if you guys have seen it, I didn't know who else to ask when I found out Loki would be sick. I reached out to a couple people. Stephen Ransom, I consider like a brother of this channel. He's done all of these crazy memes and stuff like Chris does, and a couple other folks. Didn't hear anything back, but if you want to come in here, let me know. We're just trying to shift our way through this with some sort of technical issues, that kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a couple shots I feel like they probably could have go ahead and cut, like the Walton his trek across all of Canada. Like they probably could have cut like part of that out. We didn't need to see like a day to night sort of.
Oh yeah. Like I said, yeah, all of his story is the one that's obviously fluffed out. I don't know what the runtime on this has to be pretty short, because all of that fluff could be gone. But I feel like they were trying to get to 90 minutes or something like that. So I can imagine it's probably going to be one of those where it comes in at like 86 minutes or something. Because it's a lot of unnecessary nonsense. Like it's like I said, with the training and things like that, it's just a lot unnecessary. So, hey to Leia Rose, hey there, Princess. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, Ego, if you want to come in here, you've seen it. Let me know. Flashes didn't take me up on it, but I'll send you a link. Let's do it. Let me
I feel like this could have been cut. Like, I feel like they could have cut about 10 minutes out of this, and it would have been just as fine, because that would have put it at about a 90-minute run.
Is it about 100? I didn't look. Is it about 100 minutes?
Hour 40.
Yeah, so, it definitely could have. I probably can lose 15 minutes or more. I mean, I easily could trim out a lot of this kind of, because you can montage some of these pieces together, and you're losing, 3 minutes here, 2 minutes there. It'll add up fast. So,
you know what scene that I there was a scene I did appreciate, where he's stopping in the pet shop to like go and get the
hamster stuff
for his hamster. Yeah. And the lady's like trying to talk him up. Is like, you don't seem like a hamster kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're looking at the guy like, yeah, this character really should be a snake guy.
Yeah, well, the whole point is that he's not what you think he is, right? The whole point is he's so messed up mentally. So he interacts. So again, okay, so Ironcaster touched on the one shot where he is trying to buy a Christmas present off a dude. It's a baseball bat. So when he finally gets to Alaska, and he's there coming out of one of these stores or whatever, there's a little boy with an airplane that he just got from Santa. So he's going to buy this airplane. But before he gets to that, he starts telling this kid this like horrible Santa story, and shows him like his cigarette scars on his hand, on his arm. Like, so he has this horrible backstory that comes out at the every end of the film. But yeah, the whole pet store scene, again, we didn't really need it. We know he's a hamster guy. It's just a weird, quirky thing. So he basically ends up figuring out a way to like travel with this hamster. So he's going all the way to the North Pole with this hamster. And so he goes to this pet store, just give me all this stuff. She's like, aren't you seem like a snake person? He's like, don't snakes eat hamsters? Like, and he's just rude to her. So yeah, some of that stuff didn't need to be there.
He's like, you remind me of my mother. She never knew when to shut the F up.
Yeah.
Which it then led to him like getting this little like hamster wheel with a bunch of holes in it, so the hamster could kind of sit up at his more eye level and kind of see out the door, out the car.
He's like a passenger on the journey, right? Yeah, and he's a jerk. He goes to like a sporting goods store to get like the ski suit and these kinds of things. So let's refresh. I like the post office stuff. I liked how they handled it. Again, the bar, he like goes to a bar in this, the lady's kind of a tramp. Anytime he's there, he always picks up on the fact that this one guy's hitting on her. He goes over and kind of like, hey, how you doing, Jimmy? How's Sally and the kids? Like guilting him the fact that the dude's trying to like bang this bartender. And of course the person gets guilted and leaves. So that's kind of a running thing that happens a couple times in the film as well. Again, not major importance to the overall story. Hey to Claude as well, who hopped in here. Ego, I sent you a link in case you wanted to join it at all. Talk about all this nonsense. What did you think about? So let's make sure we cover. So we got Brainiac Kid, Hitman Guy. What do you think about? Did you like Ruth? Did you like their relationship and all that kind of stuff and how their dynamic worked? I like the fact that she's, we always talk about like race swapping and all that kind of, but there's something about their relationship. I just loved it. I think they have this great chemistry together. I thought it was very believable, very good.
Oh, absolutely. I thought Ruth was a big appeal to this movie, where she's like the conscience of him, telling him where he comes home after delivering all the presents. Santa's been shot at with some buckshot. He's got to go. You got to go and patch up the sled, and here she is telling him, no, just go take some time off. We'll come visit this back in a month. Let's just let things lie. You're not thinking clearly right now.
True. Yeah, she comes up with these folders, and the folders are like Christmas letters from kids in a photo, and then like them as an adult. So like the little girl that I think was a police fire person.
She became a firewoman.
It's a firewoman. So like, and then like a dude that wants to be a cook, like to picture him with like a little, kid set. And then of course, so he gets all misty and emotional and thanks her for it and stuff like that. It just, all of this carries the film really well to allow you to tolerate the sluggishness of the assassin storyline. It kind of plods along. And every now and again, I think the kid checks in. So, he's still kind of out there. But reality is everything culminates with this last sort of 20 minutes where Hitman Guy finally makes it to where it's not in the North Pole, it's actually in Alaska, where the actual factory is. He attacks. So he's shooting up the place and he's basically killing the military personnel. He kind of like sneaks in around all that kind of stuff. And the elves are kind of caught up in some of the crossfire, but I don't think it's any elves that actually get shot in this film. I don't know if there's a disclaimer, but that would have been funny. If there's a disclaimer at the end, like no elves were actually injured in this, that would have been actually funny.
That would have been a neat little kind of joke they put in at the end of the credits.
Yeah.
Well, this movie does have some comedy to it. You're not really getting anything out there and really in your face. So it's a lot more of a bit of a subtle humor to it all.
Okay. Chris has got us here. Says, yeah, she got a fire truck as a little kid and was inspired to become a firefighter. Mrs. Claus is wise. Yeah, Mrs. Claus is so, again, it's a little arrogant to say it this way. I can see Mrs. Pops and I in this movie. I felt like that's like the way we are and how we operate. Like she's always the one that has some sort of like next level comment or some sort of next level perspective that involves humility and calming you down and getting through it. And So I really, really loved the Mrs. Claus, and because she's making him cookies and he gets really excited because she's made cookies. And then there's jokes about when she made like bad cookies, like she went on a vegan kick and it was like, he's like, I lost 12 pounds. And the humor comes in these little moments, but not goofy. Oh, right.
Like,
Spared My Feeling. Yeah. It was really good.
like
It was good.
it was self-preservation.
Yeah, I wasn't. Well, maybe, but she doesn't even respond. The story just keeps going. Like there's no like ha ha ha. Let me slap you up or what? No, we just keep moving. So, and I know we're moving fast, but if you guys want to ask any questions and comments in chat, feel free. Please help us out here. So go ahead.
I liked there was a bit at the end there where you finally get into the gunfight, and I'm looking around waiting, like, is Mrs. Claus going to come out and save the day? Like I'm looking forward. I'm like, come on, just with how supportive she's been of Chris in the movie, I'm like, she's got to have his back now.
Yeah, and it was done really well because they set this up because the assassin gets in, he's attacking the factory, shooting up military guys. Elves are running around. There's, Seven is trying to figure out how to get a call into Chris. Chris is up at the big house. Well, Chris figured out how to bed Mrs. Claus. So they're actually in bed together. It happens off screen, but it actually, again, it adds to the reality of all of this in their relationship because he's actually happy that the money came in from this new deal. Things have gone pretty well. We're headed into Christmas with, some good uplifting motivation here. We're headed in the right direction. Next thing you know, the phone rings. We're under attack, sir. We're under attack. You can hear gunfire in the background. And they're like scurrying around together. He's like, no, I need the walker. She's loading the gun for him. He's like got one under in his armpit, trying to pull his britches up. And it is, I don't know. You guys that have seen it, you guys have to chime in and tell us what you think works and what doesn't work. Because I had a good time rewatching this movie. I really, really did. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you were sharing something.
Oh, no, I figured I would just share it a slightly different way here. But yeah, just wanted to kind of grab a couple stills.
Okay, so yeah, also, we head to the firefight, and he comes out of blazes. So he's got a gun in each hand. Like Mrs. Claus loaded one, he's got the other. So the one guy's coming from one direction with like high tech fancy stuff. He's got two handguns. He's coming right at him. One's a revolver, I think. The other one's not. And he ultimately kind of like become like it's the cliche movie thing with like the big stack of logs, or one guy's on one side, one guy's on the other. How do you do it? And Chris does eventually like attack and go over to get him. Let's see what we got here. See what IRONCASTER pulling up here. He's got a bunch of stuff going. So these are set photos. Yeah. It's one of the two directors. Oh, that was a torture scene that we talked about earlier with that little kid. It's a freaky scene, man. Her battery, it's like a battery jumper cable. So he's like, shh. It was crazy. It's so over the top. It's like these people are crazy. Over like a science project, science fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up the IMDb photos, trying to give us at least a visual reference. And the thing is, they're not in any particular order, so it's all kind of jumbled up. So,
by the way, kudos for set design. By the way, look at that. Looks like an actual garage, laundry basket, the whole nine. It's a little staged looking in some ways, but I'm good. I'm there.
Wait, the kid. I just kind of love how obsessed he is over just this little minor thing of like a science fair, trying to get the best in show, get the first place in the science fair.
Mm-hmm. He is not able to handle not getting his way over anything. That's pretty much what is shaken up. It's insane. And he has like a light board so he can steal the money from his grandmother. So he uses like a light board and blank checks to make these checks out. So that's how he's paying the assassin. You're like, what on earth did this kid come up with this stuff? So anyway, the shootout goes along. There's a callback to the weapon that's used, but basically he gets the upper hand and stabs Chris several times. By the way, it is a little bit much for those of you like you really have a love of Santa Claus. This can mess with you a little bit, and then ultimately shoots him in the eye, shoots him in the face. So you think he's dead. So he's dead. He's laying there, and then about the time he feels like he's victorious, that's when Mrs. Claus responds. So yeah, here's the uber looking little nerdy Ben Shapiro looking dude.
Like he had to wear all the best in show ribbons. As
yeah, he doesn't have like he didn't even go like ribbon free. He wore his previous ones on there, so he's carrying around his little red ribbon. So, but what we get is, go ahead.
I'll say at first when he's like kind of walking around, he's writing a red letter to Santa Claus at the beginning of the movie as the credits begin. I'm like, why is he wearing all these ribbons on his vest? It makes no sense. I'm like, oh, because it makes sense as he goes on. Oh, because this is just who this kid is. Like He is a perfectionist. He has a giant painting of Napoleon behind him. He has these delusions of grandeur to him. Like he is going to be this, he's going to be the greatest thing ever since Napoleon.
Yeah, it's so over the top and insane. Like I said, I just got to laugh when I heard they kind of like tried to base some of this off Ben Shapiro. It just made me laugh. I really did. So,
yeah, I'm really surprised that never came out, because if that had come out back in 2020 when this movie released, this Mel Gibson movie's woke videos that would have happened.
That's true. I think in 2020 we weren't open enough, and that's another reason why I didn't do well financially, and the buzz didn't get around because not enough people saw it right away. So with the end of the film, we get sort of like the wrap up on the assassin. You get like the whole family stuff and whatever, and there's a great line about all you brought me with this little, like a Matchbox police car, basically, right? And Santa, Kris Kringle says, "Yeah, I couldn't. Some things are beyond my power. I couldn't replace your parents." And you're like, "Oh crap! This dude was writing to Santa every year to get different parents that were not torturing him and treating him so badly." And he hates Santa. He blames Santa for his parents, for all the torture his parents put him through. So it's like this crazy, weird obsession. I will say though, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure I totally understand why he's obsessed with collecting the gifts, other than it's to compensate himself for the fact that he never got any along the way.
Yeah, that was the one thing that always kind of stood out. They're like, why is he collect all the Christmas stuff? Yeah, no, that felt like that could have been better addressed, because it's like he's trying to, like, it doesn't really work, I feel, because it doesn't lend itself into it. Like, I don't know, he's trying to, the toys he wanted as a kid, or I don't know. I'm grasping at ideas, trying to make sense of this.
Well, first off, you get kudos from Chris on your Napoleon comment. Yeah, Santa was Billy's Waterloo. Very good call.
Oh, that is good.
Very good. So all that we needed was a line when he's yelling at Santa. It's like, well, now I don't need you. I buy my gifts now. I get the ones I want. I'm an adult now. I can just buy my own. So I bought he bought a baseball bat. He bought a little toy airplane. So it's like, I don't need you now. I can just buy the ones I wanted. So it's clear that's kind of what they're going for. But him yelling that at Santa would have been pretty good, because it would have given Santa a chance to go, yeah, but you're still hollow and empty inside. Obviously it didn't matter, or something. Give him good back. Yeah. So obviously, like you say, or even kind of you expected, Mrs. Claus shoots him, kind of saves the day. But then the battle, because he doesn't kill him right away, the battle goes inside the house. And I have to admit, when you look at your timer and you see there's like over 10 minutes or something left in the movie, I'm like, holy crap, what's going to happen now? Like, I really kind of had this like, oh my gosh, this is nuts. So.
Yeah. And, I guess, are we going to kind of give the whole movie away, or how?
I kind of did earlier when I talked about the fact that, and we're not, we don't really ever hold back on talk hard really, but we'll go to Chris though. But Chris, we agree with this. We discussed this, that he had limitation, couldn't bring your parents back. But my point is, did they explain though? They don't really ever address why he's buying presents. By he's obsessed with gifts. Because remember, he takes the baseball bat, there's shelves, and everything else is in plastic and keepsakes. So it's like he's obsessed with collecting toys and gifts that he could have gotten when he was a kid, but it's never quite explained. This part is explained. I get that part, because that is the home run part of the stories, where you get the fact that he was basically writing to Santa, I want new parents. Bring me parents that are not torturing me. And if you guys don't want spoilers, because we're going to go into, we have to discuss it, because I love the end scene. The end scene is the home run. Oh my gosh, the end scene is a home run.
Like I had chills up my spine with it.
Again, I know you guys. I know Flaccid said they didn't like the movie. Ego talked about it being kind of a letdown or whatever. I totally understand, guys. I totally get it. It's sort of got a very vanilla feel, but the twist, of course, is in Santa. There's a quick line about it earlier in the movie too. I think it was when he got the buckshot or something. It'll heal like it always does, or something like that. And she's there with him. and he's a bloody mess, and all the elves are standing there, and then ultimately you see his hand move, you see him move a little bit, you realize, oh crap, he's actually not dead yet. But what they do is they cut to the scene where the maid opens the door and it's Mrs. Claus and Chris walking in to see Billy. Well, Billy is there poisoning the grandma because grandma's finally caught on all this money's missing. So he's unloading all these pills in her milk. Well, Santa walks in with like his eye covered up. He's got like a staff because he's got a limp, the whole nine. He's a mess. Oh, by the way, Zax, look at this. He's Santa'd up his logo. Good on you, Zax.
Oh,
awesome, my friend. That's pretty hot. Thank you, Zax. Thanks for being a member, doing all that kind of stuff. So, okay, so Chris is saying he thinks he's trying to remove the wishes that Santa granted to others as a type of self-gratifying comeuppance. So that's fair. I mean, like I said, it's like he's trying to get the presents that Santa didn't bring him. Like, I could have asked for this. I could have asked for that. That's fair. Yeah. A revenge move, maybe. Yeah.
I can definitely see that as sort of something that was an idea in the script, or that, you know, didn't necessarily come across so obviously in the film, but that is something I feel like at least like a line to kind of lean me in that direction, because if it wasn't there, I didn't catch it.
No, it's not spelled out. It's so again, I love the fact that they don't spell it out. We can have a fan discussion of this. That makes it, that does make it fun. But this scene, Santa's rolling up on Billy, and it wastes no time, because you as the audience member have seen that he's dumping these pills in this milk. You know Santa has somehow survived, and he rolls up and just grabs this milk and chugs it. And you're like, oh crap, he just poisoned that milk.
It's like fentanyl. That'll do it.
That'll do it. That would have worked. And I'm like, holy crap, Santa is kick butt, man. I'm loving Santa even more now. Now I'm wanting Fat Man too, because I was so down with this. And then Santa gives Billy the speech, because he talks about throughout the film, it's like he's talked about, I've lost my way. Kids are falling away. They're dropping bowling balls off bridges and stuff. All the crazy stuff that kids are doing, right, to end up on the naughty list. And, you know, they're awful. And here he's given Billy basically the whooping that he deserves. Mrs. Claus grabs him by the ear, drags him over, so he's like in Santa's face, starts unwrapping the wrap, so he has no side of his face. There's no eye or anything on this side of the face.
Yeah,
and he leans in. It's so good. And it ends with, I have my eye on you. And there's no eye here. The eye is on this side. And Mel Gibson has the Mel Gibson crazy eyes. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know. You've seen it in movies. He has the crazy eye. There's only one. And that eye is going bonkers. Oh, it's so good. The end scene, even if it was mediocre, it made it at least good for me. It makes it good for me because the end scene was so good.
This is a movie I am going to be recommending to a lot more people to watch, because having not watched this, like, I love this. I think this might almost be a movie. If I don't watch it every year, I'm gonna, maybe every other year. It's gonna be one I'm gonna try to pull people in. I'm like, have you seen Fat Man? This is like I feel like gonna be one of those like kind of quiet little Christmas classics that a few years down the line people are gonna realize was. I know
people. It's gonna be one of these cult things. I'm telling you, like Loki broke me into Santa's Sleigh, which I haven't seen probably since I was in college. And this is kind of like that. I think it's that kind of movie, Logan and the Fat Man. Yeah, it's just, it has these elements. So, I don't know. I mean, I watch this. First off, I watch so many Christmas movies every year. All I do is keep making a longer list. I don't know that I'll do more videos on this, because once you do a talk hard, I mean, what else is there to say? I wouldn't mind going on other people's show and talking about Fat Man, especially if you don't like it. You want to have me on and talk about why I liked it.
And before we take this away, I want to show real quick. I found a Japanese poster for this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Oh man, that's pretty hot. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I need this poster now.
Well, I really, really want, again, Chris Persia, Steven Ransom's here. You guys deserve to the fact. Let me take your picture down. There's a couple of lines in the movie that it's almost like I don't want the little dude in the bottom. I just wanted like his face, and then with like some of these phrases at the bottom, because there's some of these great quotes in this movie would be great for a t-shirt. You know what I mean? I just loved it. If I'm going to find the quote while we keep chattering, because there was one quote, I'm like, I want that. That would be a fun shirt. So
you think you're the first? You think I got this job because I'm fat and jolly?
That's it. That's it. The face. And then go. You do you think you're the first? That would be it. Oh, that's so good. That would be the line. That's right. Because that's what he says to the assassin. The assassin comes to kill. Do you think you're the first? That'd be such a great quote. People will look at that shirt and be like, what does your shirt mean? It's like this crazy looking Mel Gibson eyes looking at you. Do you think you were the first? Yeah. Yeah. Because I have my my ho ho ho. Now I have a machine gun shirt that always gets a look. So I got that one. So yeah. So, well, I'm glad we talked about it. I really wish Loki had been here because I know he hadn't seen it either, and I was really curious on how you guys would come down on it. And I'm actually glad that you found some sort of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, up until like I watched this for the first time yesterday, so this was still this one I kind of held off on, and by the time I had picked it up. Like I think last year it was like, oh, well, it's March. I'm like, it's Santa Claus. It's a Christmas movie. I'll wait off of this till like next year or whatever. I'm like, no, I feel like I could watch this about any time of year. This is a movie I feel like I don't necessarily need to save for Christmas because
like Christmas, I said, it's not so overly Christmas that if you were catching it some other time. So, Nos, look at you sucking up, Nos. The unbridled sexiness on screen. That's how you get in with Ironcaster right there, sucking right up. I appreciate that. So,
I'll have you know that sweet words get you everywhere.
Absolutely, words is how you get to the third base at least. So,
weird.
So I think the plot and the script is definitely sloggy, right? The assassin story, these massive amounts of scenes we didn't need. Some of those elements, and there's a couple little plot points I think could have been cleaned up a little bit better. But the backbone of this is Gibson's performance, his on-screen chemistry with Ruth, which Mrs. Claus, and then I will say, even though there's not a lot of screen time, I love that a lot of the secondary characters bring it for their roles. Right. So like I said, I loved Herman in the post office. I believed Herman worked at the post office. There was not a doubt in my mind. I didn't care for a lot of the postal workers that they get killed or whatever, but I liked Herman. I liked Seven, the little elf, the little head elf guy. He seemed like he was believable as head elf. There was a lot there. I liked that. I thought that was pretty good. So there's a couple of little elements there that were good.
I just because I feel I want to give him a little more praise. Billy, Chance Hurstfield.
Yes, yeah. He got some attention. He got an award, a nomination for something, one of these obscure film festival type things for that. Because for a kid actor, yeah, he did a good job. Did a great job. And that end scene brings it, man. It totally, that's good stuff, man. And they never go too far. Maybe that's part of the problem, right? People are really into Violent Night. I haven't seen it yet because it's all of these Christmas references with like graphic rated R horror murders. This is definitely not that. This is definitely not Saints of Slay. This is something completely different. And like I said, other than the F-bombs and a couple of the gunshots and the stabbing in the chest, it easily could have been a PG-13. It's not as graphic as the rating is, and definitely not compared to those other films. So we gave Fatman some due. Anything else you want to throw out there about all this?
Don't sleep on this film. Like, this one is well worth a watch ultimately. Like I said, there's the middle act has a little bit of hit or miss to it, but like I said, this is ultimately well worth it. Mel Gibson is on top of his game with this movie.
You guys in chat that have seen it, you guys have a score on 10 out of 10 on this? Hey, Bifer, you guys have a score? I'm going to go about 6, which for me, of course, is a good score, right? 3 out of 5. I'm going to go 6. I'm pretty strong on 6. On a low end, I would be at 5. I think 6 is fair. So they're actually hysterical calling each other names, by the way, in the chat. It cracks me up. If you guys are not following chat, you're missing out.
Zach, you Canadian. Zach, you Canadian cascade of testosterone.
And Zach says like, Nos, you Hulk of hotness. Yeah, Bifer saying Fat Man is a 6. Yeah. What do you think about that? 6?
I think I would probably give it a 7, a 6.5, 7. I'm
Fair
a
enough.
little higher up on this than you.
Sure. No, listen, I'm not judgmental, number one, but number two, I can see that. I lean going higher, not going lower. Like I will say on second watch, the elves didn't do it for me as much. The script slogging in the stuff just bothered me more. And the fact that you talked to me about like 100 minutes, I thought it was closer to like 90 minutes. The fact that it's got an extra 10 or 15 minutes like that bothers me a lot. Of that. Zach's saying 6.5, 7. We are all coming down about the same. So in the neighborhood of 6 to 7. That's a fair score. That used to be a go see it score. Used to be when you saw 3 stars, you were like, I should go see that movie. You know what I mean? It's like a 4 star is a good movie. A 5 star is an elite movie. That was the normal scores. So,
and then it turned into like, even like if a movie was bad, it got a minimum of a 6 for all the major stuff. And it's like,
well, now if you give something a 60, you're treated like you're crapping on it because they changed the way the scales does. So now it's like if I say something is a 65. People look at you like you hated this movie. I'm like, I thought that was a pretty good score. It's above average. I think you should go see it if you like this kind of stuff. Like, it's fine. So anyway, but thanks to all you in chat for that. So we finished a little early because, Loki's not here. We didn't fill some time. We kind of didn't have a lot to share. So we're not slowed down by micro analyzing certain scenes and that kind of thing. Should we share with these folks some of the, I want to say I unboxed it because I know what it was, but I could do some show and tell. What do you think, Ironcaster? Should they get some show and tell?
Let's give them a little taste, and then we're not going to show all the presents before Christmas.
We're not going to show. Well, they're definitely not showing the one for sure. I'm definitely not doing that. I have someone's Christmas present. Well, let's just say it's the person that's not here. I'm very excited about this, but I will show. We got our first order in of Pop stickers and Sharkcaster stickers. Look at that, baby. Sharks in the corn right there. You know you want one. You know you want
on the moon next.
What's that?
We got to put me on the moon next.
Yeah, we need to do actual like parody posters with them or whatever. I think that would be even better. So, yes, Sharkcaster. That definitely has come around. And hail to, I believe, did Chris Percha and or Stephen Ransom do the Sharkcaster? I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. I apologize for not knowing. Okay, I think one of you did the face, but then one of you put it in the corn. Anyway, Stephen Ransom did this for me. This was a while ago, and I just did a print of it. It's rolled up. That's how fast I got. So this is my AC/DC Pops, my Talk Hard high voltage parody that I will have framed. It'll be behind me as we head into 2023. So I got my AC/DC poster that came today. And to share with all of you wonderful people, and you know how much I love them. Some of you love them a lot, and I have video evidence that definitely posted of Ironcaster eating the. Chris Persia added the corn. So Steve put your face in the shark, and then Chris put the background. So Chris, we got to get him on the moon, I guess. Just sharks to the moon. So I got more Gremlins cards. I got more Trons cards. Huh?
The beauty about those shark movies is you could put a shark anywhere. So literally you could just like, whatever, lava shark, whatever, ghost shark. He's now just like in a French castle somewhere. He's now just like microscopic sharks.
Yep. So I got a bunch of wax packs from somebody. So I actually got 1989 wax packs, and I showed Ironcaster right before we started because I was like, I think I'm going to keep one of these for me, a Jack one. That is hot. I don't think I have our Jack Rapper one. That's freaking great right there. So
I like the packaging for the Batman one. Just the face on it looks A+.
Yeah, they used like a shadowy look too. They didn't go with something cartoony on that one, so that turned out really, really good. Those are more Batman. It's a different series, and these are Black Hole. Those are Black Hole. Just bought a whole bunch of stuff. Like I got carried away. I got really carried away. So, yeah. So yeah, Bifer says I want Pops with a chainsaw hands like Army of Darkness. But see, Ironcaster and Loki would look better as Ash, not me. Especially Ironcaster.
What we do then is we go and like put other attachments on, like, oh, we put a weed whacker hand on.
Okay. So like a Swiss Army hand would be more like Pops. Yeah.
Exactly.
I would definitely need different types of attachments. I'm okay though with a chainsaw. I love my chainsaws. I love chainsaw. I love cutting stuff up with a chainsaw. So
because now I'm imagining like one of those kind of like paper dress up dolls with the different hand attachments, but we put on like a harpoon. We'll put on a toothbrush. We'll put on a toothpick.
Yeah, especially if you could have like, what is it called? Like the thing that Chewbacca wears, the
bandolier.
The bandolier, right? A bandolier with attachments. So you could just pull it off and just pop it right on your hand. You'd be good to go.
It pops off.
It does pop off. See, look, Chris is there. Chris is there. Let's see what's we got. We have our we have our idea. I think we're very close on this too, Chris. I like it. I like it a lot. Let me see if it'll pop up here. Bear with the speeds and stuff. It's coming. You think you're the first. That's good. That's really kind of what I was looking for. Looking for the guy not to be there and having the text. Yeah. Spot on, Chris. Thank you, my friend.
Bravo.
Yeah, I need to get that like blended in a gray shirt so it would blend in good and then have that red pop like that. That would look pretty good. I like that a lot. My face as Santa is almost like not even face swapping at this point. Like I actually for a while grew all that out. And the problem I had with growing that kind of beard is unlike Ironcaster, these guys that can grow long, go down. My beard just kind of just kept growing. It would never shape down and just become a big bushy mess on the side. It would never shape down. So I liked it better when I kind of had more like the Sean Connery Hunt for the Red October look. I had a little bit more of that. That's when I liked it better. I don't like it now. But now it's really because in Florida it's still humid and stuff here, so it's so itchy. So Pops like scissor hands. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Oh, that could be good.
Yes, a mausoleum of hand attachments. Yes, you're right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, a little Enter of the Dragon meets Ash. I like it. I like where you guys are going with this. I like it a lot.
And then Loki is Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Loki would want to be Bruce Lee for sure. So now maybe we shouldn't say anything to raise attention to what I'm going to show. That way maybe he won't see it. He knows we have them. He knows we have them. I showed you guys that I had them. I kid you not. It's the most disturbing thing. It's just so freaking disturbing. So yeah. I got a couple of everything. I just tried a little bit of everything. See what they did. The quality is really good. I didn't know they were going to come in sheets though. That you have to cut them, I guess, because I'd have to cut it out to send it to you, so I can send you one.
Because I'm going to put one on my laptop.
Absolutely.
The most confusing sticker. We're like, what's up with the face?
Well, you need to have one of everything. So you need to have a Pops and a So you have a little bit of Chris Persia. I need your address so I can send you one, buddy. Let me send me your address so I can send you a sticker. Once. Yeah, good to hook you up, man. Loki just sends to disturb it in the force. I'm waiting for the comment, like just any minute, just to drop in. Like I'm just waiting for the oh hell no, oh my god no. Yeah, I know, but
he's just show up in the chat and just say one word. No.
I have to be honest. I tried to do the face swap. There is like one Zardoz face swap, and it made me uncomfortable. It was so weird. It was so because Sean Connery is so hairy. It just felt wrong. Like Hiddleston's face is just no. I just can't. It didn't. Oh yuck! It just didn't seem right. So we've never done that one. I'm not sure. Maybe I will just to see his because his response makes it all the worthwhile. So it's worth doing.
What is that you're using for those, by the way? It's like
let me see.
Pinata Farm or something.
Pinata Farm is the main one where it'll swap whole heads.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So it'll pop. So you have to you basically cut out the head and then it'll put the head in. But you can do objects and stuff. So it's real easy to do. And you'll see if you go to Pinata Farms, you can see people just doing like logos and things like that. So that one's a fun one. It basically look like you have a big head, basically. The other one, this is the one I want to make sure I got the right name, is Reface, REFACE, Reface. And that's the one where it uses the AI to meld your face into the one you're looking for. And some of those, did I ever show you the one where they did Ryan Rogers' eyebrow?
Yes. Oh god. Oh, that was.
It didn't animate his mouth, guys. So he has this sort of like cartoon version of Ryan, and I was like, oh, I wonder what it'll do. And it has like a voice thing, which is always like the easiest way to figure out what it's going to do is to do the voice one. I had it upload. Yeah, here it is. Here it goes. Here you go, guys. Talk about disturbing. Here's some disturbing for you.
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
Ugh. No, I don't like that.
It's so messed up and weird. Like it ain't right. That's all that ain't right. Something's wrong there. Yeah. Well, the best part was when I sent it to Ryan. Ryan was like, "What?" I'm gonna be on with Ryan tomorrow, so I may have to share that. See if I can get him to actually play it on his channel. That's funny. He has such a great sense of humor.
You have to find another little nightmare fuel for him.
Well, I save a lot of the bloopers that he doesn't save. So that's why I have the dancing one. I have the one where the collapse. You guys have seen the collapse, right?
That thing is iconic.
It's the best ever because it's just like he's talking about this not happening, and then that's what happens. So yeah, this is this.
Well, it
one.
seems I've done it. Hopefully, this does not collapse. It's nearly.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Oh,
it's the best.
So I've been playing with a little bit of tech on my end.
Let's do it. What you got?
I don't know if this is coming through or not.
Ooh, that's like Mr. Roboto Domo. That is.
I've got a few of these.
I like the first one better.
Attention, Kmart shoppers.
I like the Domo Arigato. I like that one. That was really spot on too.
Yeah, this has been fun to play with.
Cool. By the way, I know how to do like this much with it because there's other options that I can't always get to work where you can do your refacing and change something, and then you can go back in and then change it again, and then you can do it like 3 or 4 times. I assume Perry Chan, this is kind of how Perry Chan does these videos for like FNT and stuff. He knows the sequence of how to get it down where you make these types of changes and then you go back in, you add another layer of changes, and you kind of have to be able to think it through in a way that, you have to know what kind of audio you're going to use and things like that. So
Shop smart. Shop at smart.
Shop at smart. The other one, well, that's more like that was the motor. I got to go to the other one.
Shop smart. Shop at smart.
See, that was good. That was good. We could use that. See, that would work. Yeah. Yeah. Chris said, yeah. Yes. Fine. Thanks. All right, man. Well, listen. So what should we do? We really went fast. FATMAN to me was a fun sort of Christmassy mix. Like it's another one to kind of put in the mix. Something different, right? I enjoy the fact that I have my staples, I have something else scheduled, but I have to go on a show, talk about like my favorite 3. I don't even know how I can whittle a list down to 3. I have the 3 that I think are the best, and I have the 3 that I probably watch the most.
Well, what you should do is instead of going for the like your 3 favorites or the 3 best, you go for like effectively one of 3 separate little ideas. Like one that you might hold up as your favorite, one that's a little sleeper hit, such as Fatman, is something something that people might not realize.
Like Santa's sleigh, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I got you.
And then you throw out one other one just to kind of, change the rhythm a little bit. Cause how many, as much as I love some of these classics, it's like, how many times are people that sit around and say, "Oh, my favorite is It's a Wonderful Life," or it's
Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story,
Miracle,
yeah, it's going to be certain ones which are the right answers, right? These are the right answers. Got that. But you're right. It's like how and and you have the people that are trying to be sort of contrarian by throwing Die Hard in the mix and things like that to try to stir up the people that don't think they deserve to be on the list. Those kinds of things. But I do agree with you. This is a don't sleep on kind of movie. That's kind of fun. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Pacific 414 is here as well. And I will say again, like you were saying, Mel Gibson's performance when I watched it the second time today. It is these little subtleties. Like there's a scene where he's looking at the check, and the way he handles his mannerisms and stuff was just so good. It's just there's little things to make this movie really good.
The way his drive into town, where he's like, you can see he's getting angry. Listen to the music. Listen to whatever's on the radio.
Yep, the radio show. Then the newscast comes on. That kind of thing. The first Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie. Yeah, there was funny. There was a whole list where like almost anything with a Christmas scene was on the list, and I'm like, man, that's a lot of stuff because you have a whole lot of movies where there might be a scene that's set at Christmas, but it has nothing else element to do. But yeah, there's a whole lot of but there's not a lot of references to Christmas with Lethal Weapon. See, I can argue with Die Hard. Die Hard makes a lot of references to Christmas. There really is a lot. Party. Well, he has like 3 or 4 lines. The way it ends, he's got the gift. The bear comes back to play with Argyle in the parking garage. There's a lot of Christmassy in the music, so there's a lot of elements to that. I would have to rewatch the original Die Hard and kind of take note of some of the Christmas references to see where it would rank. And I thought about that. I did like a community poll. I didn't get a lot of participation to kind of figure out how to define that. Because obviously there's the clear things like, a lot of Christmas themes, references like Santa and Caroling and Present. But then you have to go, all right, well, how do we deal with these other ones? Is Serendipity a Christmas movie, right? So it's like, well, we have gift giving and we have, Christmas music and we have snow and we have certain things, and then how much screen time does that represent and those kinds of things. So, but yeah, no, it was, anyway, so I can't be on that show, but I definitely watch a lot of Christmas movies and I'm happy to include Fatman because I have a list now of like, maybe there's a list of the ones I don't watch with Mrs. Pop. Mrs. Pops won't watch them. This is on that list.
No, I can't imagine why she wouldn't watch those.
She won't watch this one. She's kind of given up on Scrooge because Scrooge, when you rewatch, you realize there's a lot of naughtiness in Scrooge. Yeah, I love Scrooge. Again, that was my sweet spot back in the day, was something like Scrooge. That was such a great movie. But yeah. So anyway, next week we're going to do Rankin Bass. And I did a thumbnail that included, the big stuff like Heat Miser. It'll be like Rudolph, Santa Claus Coming to Town. And I didn't include Frosty in the sense because I wanted to say more like the claymation ones.
Oh,
like
right.
The big 3. I didn't even include Drummer Boy because Drummer Boy to me is so much more tedious. But basically between Rudolph and the other one, it's like 10 years. It's like this 10-year sweet spot that has lived on in legacy basically my whole life. It's really crazy to think about.
Yeah, they've become so iconic that those are movies I cannot imagine Christmas without. Like I have to hear, the Miser song. I have to, put one foot in front of the other and all that. Decepticon
says he likes this better than Violent Night. People have been going on about Violent Night. I didn't know. So if you've seen it, I'd love to know your thoughts. So, and he just watched Bill Murray.
Yeah, it looks like that's like the big like Christmas horror, alternate Christmas movie is what I think we'll just kind of call that genre of Christmas movies.
Yeah, see, that's weird too because people were talking about this like it's a big deal. I'm like, yeah, but I grew up with like Silent Night, Deadly Night, so for me, it's not even like a big deal. I've always grown up with Christmas horror movies. There always were those. They've always been in the video stores. We've always had them. So for me, I'm not as, and then you get all the weird things that are out there as well. So, but it's fun to dive deep again. And I don't know if I said thank you enough, Chris, by the way, for that image. That's kind of a fun image. I will play around with the edges on that and see if I can get it to blend well with like a gray shirt. I would actually print that out and wear that. That'd be fun. My daughter-in-law was getting really good with Cricut, and they ironed on really, really good. And I don't know how well they'll hold up over time, but she did shirts for something else, and it was, I don't know. I'm not saying it's quite as good as like a screening, but it was good for doing like, doing a couple shirts. So I thought that was actually a pretty good way to go. So, so then, you won't be here next week. So we'll be doing Rankin Bass without Ironcaster. We will not have Ironcaster next week. So that'll be that. And, as we inch.
It's,
and then
I've got a family member who's having their 50th birthday just happens to fall like on the day, and they want to have a big dinner. It's a whole thing. No,
that's the right thing to do, man. You're good. So Claus, it's a little on brand, don't you think? No, it's a little on brand. The Klaus Kinski versus Potts anime shirt. Hey, listen, draw it up, man. I'll wear it. I'd wear it. Send me a shirt. Yo, popping in to show my love and support. Hail chat. Hey, man. Love to have you, man. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it so much. So, but then on the 20th will be our last show of the year. We'll kind of do a best of, worst of kind of conversation for 2022. Where we wrap up some of our best movies. I'm trying to run through. I kind of made a short list of the movies that came out this year to make sure I've seen some of the bests and worst to make sure I can fairly gauge if they deserve to be on. Because I'm watching one of the Indian ones that's supposed to be really good, and I'm not enjoying it. You did finally see RR though.
I did.
And we've not discussed that because I know Loki has not seen it. And you came away feeling the way many of us did. Like, holy crap, what did I just watch? Like, what is happening in this movie?
I'll save a lot more of my thoughts for that show.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it all away now.
Fair enough. I'm very happy. And like I told you, I said now you can watch Bahubali 1 and 2. And those are his two previous films. And you can see his film progression. You can see his development, and they're epics as well. So those are fun. So, but yeah, so the Christmas is there before we head into January. We'll have a new slate there. We've been taking recommendations and suggestions from you folks. If you got anything you want us to try to make sure you put on the calendar for Talk Hard in 2023. The only one in January that I had rock solid was the Lake Placid one and Groundhog Day. So 2 of the 5 in January. So that's 2 of the 5 in January. So
there is a little indie like Dungeons and Dragons movie that I wanna get your guys' thoughts on, but I wanted to save that for closer to the release of next year's Dungeons and Dragons movie. So I feel like that would be kind of a good.
No, you're right. Yeah. Give me the information on that. Maybe we can definitely get that on the calendar. Yeah, give me everything I need to know on that because I don't have the D&D stuff on my calendar, so I don't even have the release date and stuff like that put in here.
I think to my knowledge, they pushed it back to like the end of March.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm sure chat probably knows right off.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
Yeah.
Looks like March 31st is when that's supposed to release. So,
jeez, Louise Nos, Lake Placid. Oh my God, you guys. Decepticon, I'm with you, man. Mel Gibson and Mel Gibson was really, really good in Fat Man. Like I love Walton Goggins as well. Which, by the way, if they ever do, and I don't think they should, so please don't. I don't want to be crucified, chat. So make sure you behave. I'm not saying they should, but if they redid The Shining. Watch the scene where Walton Goggins puts that sweater on and his hair goes like this. He looks exactly like he could play Jack in The Shining. Like it was super good, by the way. Which, by the way, I'm a little concerned about Ironcaster. He's starting to rock the Widow's Peak. Starting to rock the Widow's Peak a little bit there. Gonna I'm gonna hashtag Widow's Peak a little bit. So no, he's got a little ways to go. I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna go hardcore Widow's Peak. I'm just gonna let it. I'm just gonna emphasize it more. If Ironcaster isn't here next week, perhaps a pinata farms Ironcaster as one of the misers dancing. Hey, that Iron Miser could be coming next week. That is brilliant, Chris. Thank you for that note. I will take a note of Iron Miser and I'll see what I can do. And yes, let's put one foot in front of the other and see if we can get Iron Miser. And yeah, I have not figured out exactly what to do with the Sharkcasters. You guys feel free, if you're members, to hit that Sharkcaster in the chat, because yeah, Sharkcaster, baby. Sharkcaster. Yeah, my friend. Yeah. So, well, listen, bro, thank you so much for watching this, and I'm glad you did, and I'm also really glad you liked it, because I had a good time with it, and I think people should give it a fair chance, especially if you're okay with you know, something that's a little bit off kilter from the normal Christmas fodder. So there's my Sharkcasters. Here they come.
I mean, my only complaint is there's not enough sharks in it.
There's definitely not enough sharks in it. There should be a credit scene where, you know, Santa's coming out and Chris just starts firing his gun. He's shooting sharks or something. Yeah, maybe. I can see if I can find a credit scene. I don't think I looked for any face swapping for FATMAN and stuff like that. I got the computer issue, so can't do a lot of face swapping right now. I'll probably have to just drop it in and then just put it directly in StreamYard. I probably will not be able to do all the editing intro type stuff like I normally do. Just can't. I'm not gonna have the computer fixed by then. So
I think I'm gonna go play with these apps now.
Yeah, Pinata Farm's a lot of fun, man. It's like it's just odd. It's just quirky, stupid stuff. And like I said, if you get into this kind of stuff, there's people that actually know how to do it right. I play around with it just to have some fun. I'm not gonna actually like spend time to actually learn. It's just something I can just do.
Oh come on, the Legion of Memesters do this like every week.
Oh, these people that are they're super skilled. Look at Chris. Chris just threw up the freaking modified poster with some text. Like, I haven't seen any of the posters without Walter Goggins' face in it, his body in it. So I don't even know where he got that image. But yeah, just within a few minutes. I mean, dude, they put your face in a shark. Like, how the heck did that happen while we were talking? Like, they keep doing this stuff. These, you know, I cannot imagine this on scale of how crazy things could get, especially with Loki's, you know, being the ubiquitous image that's out there.
And I think the Sharkcaster is better than that left shark meme from whatever Super Bowl like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, Sharkcaster is way better. Sharkcaster is way funnier. Sharkcaster needs to go to the moon. Sharkcaster needs to go, you know, Avalanche Sharkcaster. Yes.
This is going to start a series of bad movie posters.
Absolutely. I don't know why it's not a whole brand already being made where you can get your mini poster right now. So, yeah, I have the links in the description for some of the Redbubble stuff. I have to rewrite it so I can make sure it's a little bit easier so you can get yourself pop stickers, Sharkcaster stickers. The other one we showed, I don't even want to say it 3 times out loud because he might know. Yeah, he does know. I showed him pictures on our Talk Hard thread. He's seen that they exist. But yeah, Zardos. Loki's Zardos.
Zardos.
Well, listen, brother, we'll cut it there, and I'll start this computer up charging again so I can use it later on. I have another little video I'll be doing and other stuff going on later on this week. We'll have Ryan tomorrow night, so that'll be fun. For those of you who are big fans of our brother doing reality-based, I'll be back on there again talking about stuff. Thursday, doing the few good men. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on this week. How about you, brother?
Looks like I might be on here a little bit with Vlad Steakums for his Tuesday show.
Cool. Awesome. Is that coming up after this?
Probably in about another hour, looks like.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, but I also have all my typical review stuff that I've been doing weekly. So yeah, you have Tulsa Kings, the Santa Clauses, Batman the Animated Series, and X-Men Animated Series. Yeah, I got all my normal. Those are the big 4 pretty much every week. I've been doing those. So, man, I'm telling you what, man. Batman Animated Series. It's so good. I mean, I'm not trying to diss on X-Men Animated Series. I know you guys are out there. If you love it, I love it too. But Bats is even superior to that one. Go ahead.
For the longest time, I was trying to convince myself that it was better just because I grew up being this Marvel kid over DC. But
yeah,
going back to it, the series overall, you know, beginning it, is the superior series by far, just in terms of the quality of the show, the storylines,
everything. The animation is better. The dialogue is better. The stories are more complicated and paced better. The way they use the shadows and incorporate Batman in is better than the way they incorporate some of the X-Men in. Like some of the X-Men, there are scenes that are just not. This is season 1. I do want to cut X-Men people some slack. I know you guys are going to hate on me, especially if you're watching this after the fact. It does get better. X-Men season 2, it gets better. I get it, but it's so good.
Except that last season.
Yeah, well, yeah, it phases out. But my point is, but like this is so the one episode I finished today was the Cable one. Like this is a different version of Cable. They threw him in because that's when the comic books had just come out. So we're trying to throw Cable out there so they can merch. But reality is the real Cable doesn't show up until season 2. The appropriate Cable. Batman doesn't waste any time. And I'll tell you what, I'm at least 5 or 6 episodes in with Batman. We still have gotten they do Catwoman, Man-Bat, Mr. Freeze, Clayface. We don't get to Joker, Penguin, Riddler and stuff right away. Like they spend some time building up the Bat universe before they get into some of that stuff. So I appreciate that a lot.
Even then, I mean, I think most importantly, Mr. Freeze in the animated series reinvented him and made the character an A-list villain for Batman, because before that he was just kind of a C-list nobody. But it was the animated series Heart of Ice story that gave him his new origin, that has become the definitive thing that Arnold Schwarzenegger got to botch.
That's such a freaking disaster that Arnold would ever be.
It's fun, it's silly, but
I'm going to record that video and you'll hear me rant and rave about that. That's my biggest objection right now, is that he was cast. It's just such a good story. So anyway, so that's what you get to look forward to, folks. If you're helping me out, support my channel, thank you so much in chat. And Chris Perger, man, modding, taking care of things for us. Thank you so much. All my members that are out there, Zach's and Chris. I know Matt's been here. Lots of you guys that are members that have been in and out of here. I appreciate it all so much. You guys have made this all so worthwhile. How do you think I get to keep doing things like, buying crap like this? It's your guys' fault. We'll open some of that stuff up here soon. We'll do some. I'll do a stream or something. We'll just do some.
Wait, I have a button for this. Oh, of course, my soundboard's like loading up.
Technical. It's the technical night, man. We're having our fair share of shenanigans tonight. So, all of you take care. Be good. Be blessed. Make tomorrow better than today. And get out there and talk hard. And I'm probably just going to have to go with this. Hopefully it'll work. We'll see. I know it's long, so give me plenty of time to try to get it to work. So take care, folks. Keep in contact and let me know how things are going out there.
Yeah.